37 years. That is how long Canada waited for this moment. Not a win. Not a trophy. Just a single point at a World Cup. That is how difficult this game is at the highest level. And tonight in Toronto, in front of 60,000 screaming fans, Canada finally got one. But the way they got it made it even more special. This is the complete breakdown of Canada versus Bosnia and Herzegovina. June 12. Group B, World Cup 2026. Let us start with what was missing before a ball was kicked. Alphonso Davies was not playing. If you do not know who Alphonso Davies is, here is the short version. He is the best player Canada has ever produced. He plays for Bayern Munich, one of the biggest clubs on earth. He is fast, technically brilliant, and completely terrifying for defenders to face. He scored Canada's first ever World Cup goal in Qatar 4 years ago. Tonight he was sitting in the stands in a tracksuit. Hamstring injury. Gone before the biggest match in Canadian football history. This is the brutal reality of football at this level. You can prepare for years. You can qualify as a host nation. You can have everything in place. And then your best player pulls a muscle and watches from the sidelines. Bosnia and Herzegovina had a very clear plan coming into this match. They are a nation of 3 million people making only their second ever World Cup appearance. Their first was in 2014 in Brazil where they were eliminated in the group stage. They knew they were not the favorites tonight. They knew the crowd would be against them. So they set up defensively, stayed compact, and waited for their moment. In theory this sounds like a boring approach. In practice it is exactly how smaller nations cause upsets at World Cups. You stay organized. You frustrate the opposition. And you take your chance when it comes. Their chance came in the 21st minute. A corner kick from the right side. The ball floated into the Canada box. Bosnia's Jovo Lukic got in front of his marker, generated power from a standing position, and powered a header into the bottom corner. His first ever international goal. In a World Cup. Against the hosts. In front of 60,000 people who had come to see a Canada win. The stadium went completely silent. You could hear individual voices in the crowd. That specific silence that only happens when a home team concedes unexpectedly. 60,000 people all having the same terrible feeling at exactly the same moment. Bosnia won. Canada 0. What happened next showed exactly why Canada belong at this tournament. They did not panic. They did not change their shape drastically. They kept playing their game. They pushed forward. They created chances. And they kept creating chances even when nothing was going in. Jonathan David, their striker who plays for Lille in France, had a clear opportunity in front of goal in the second half. He struck it cleanly. The Bosnian goalkeeper got down well and saved it. Then Richie Laria found himself completely alone in front of an open goal. He pulled the trigger. The ball deflected off Bosnia's Kolasinac and smashed against the crossbar. The crossbar. Not the goalkeeper. Not a last-ditch tackle. The actual woodwork. Here is where it gets interesting. Sometimes in football the moment that defines a match is not a goal. It is the moment that felt like it should have been a goal and was not. That crossbar hit changed the atmosphere inside the stadium completely. The crowd went from nervous to desperate. The players went from determined to anxious. Half-time. Bosnia won. Canada 0. The scoreline was genuinely unfair on Canada, but scorelines do not care about fairness. The second half started and Canada manager Jesse Marsh began making changes. 76th minute. Off came Theo Oluwasiai. On came Silly Larin. A veteran striker. A player who has been around international football for years. A man who knows exactly what pressure feels like and does not flinch from it. 121 seconds later. That is 2 minutes and 1 second. Promise David received the ball in midfield and threaded a perfectly weighted pass through the Bosnia defense. Larin met it in his stride. One touch to control. One touch to finish. Low and hard into the bottom corner. 1-1. What happened in that stadium in the next 30 seconds is difficult to put into words. Connor McDavid was in the stands. If you do not know Connor McDavid, he is arguably the greatest ice hockey player currently playing the sport. He chose to be at this football match on this night. And when that goal went in he was on his feet with 60,000 other people all losing their minds simultaneously. Ryan Reynolds was there too. The actor who owns Wrexham Football Club in Wales and has become one of the most recognizable football personalities in the world. On his feet. Arms in the air. But more than the famous faces, it was the ordinary Canadian fans that made the moment. People who had waited their entire lives for their national team to matter on a stage this big. And in that one moment they got everything they had been waiting for. Canada held on for the final 14 minutes. Bosnia pushed for a winner. Canada defended with everything they had. Full time. 1-1. So what does this point actually mean? In isolation it is 1 point from a possible 3. It keeps Canada in the tournament. It gives them a platform to build on. But in the context of Canadian football history it is everything. Their first ever World Cup point. On home soil. Against a stubborn organized opponent. Without their best player. The numbers are remarkable when you think about them. Canada's first World Cup was in 1986.